It was after the Friday night lights turned off in Humble that LBJ Jaguar coach Jamal Fenner had a chance to look over video of his team's loss during the state semifinal game.
It just drove it home for me that what I felt during the game, that something wasn't right, it just confirmed it for me.
After the first half of the game, the Jaguars led 28-7. But in the second half, Fenner says officials called 16 penalties on them, while ignoring all but 2 penalties made by the Linder Eagles, who ended up winning 31-28.
And so I don't feel like my players and my team lost that game solely because we played bad or we made bad calls. Yes, some of that did take place. You know, this is not the first time that a game has been officiated bad. Won't be the last time. But it was pretty clear in whose favor that the officials were for.
Dozens of parents and players were also convinced something was up. Austin NAACP President Nelson Linder says he received about 60 calls and letters regarding officials at the game.
It was definitely a racial issue. I got some calls about racial slurs, people being ugly and nasty. No doubt about it. I'm told if you was there, you could feel the tension in the air. So it was definitely racial, no doubt about that.
Although the NAACP won't typically get involved in high school football, Linder says he didn't have a choice.
And this, to me, is very, very clear. This was ugly. It should never occur in any sports for these young people. And these kids are their spirits have been broken.
Linder asked the UIL to take action prior to the state championship game, which the Eagles play in Friday night.
Look at the tapes, look at some of the complaints, check out the referee's background, and make a decision. Postpone tomorrow night's game, replay the game, come up with a fair solution where the best team, deserving team, plays in the state championship.
However, in a statement, the UIL says the officials were agreed upon by both parties, and contest rules state, quote, "A protest based on a game or contest official's decision will not be considered."
The NAACP tells us because the UIL will not investigate, they are now planning to file a complaint with the Texas Association of Sports Officials. They're also considering legal action. Lindale Athletics did not provide a comment for this story.
Yo. Welcome to another edition of the Dex X podcast. I thank you for tuning in. This is a very, 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 very special show to me. We have Nelson Linder, president of the NAACP, Austin. Go ahead.
Brother, thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah.
I watch your writings, what you're saying. This is a very serious issue. You got it right. It's bigger than football. Since last week, things have evolved. The coach was talking about bad officiating, and I get that. That happens all the time. But this is more than bad officiating, clearly. I got calls from coaches in other parts of Texas, and Mr. Linder, we saw this stuff. They call it football racial profiling. And so I'm saying, for these young people that are playing in a game where they might go to the state championship, this is more than bad officiating. They had more exposure coming to them, and they earned the right to go there, in my opinion. So we can't just talk about bad officiating or they were black or the brown. Look, that's a whole nother issue. The issue is what happened on the field. There were bad calls. These kids were up 28-7. There was disparity in officiating, and clearly it had an impact on the game. That's why I said, seriously, postpone the game, do an investigation. These guys did about a 5-second investigation. These organizations like UIL, they do not like being challenged. They need to be challenged. They need to be respected. And the Texas sports as well. These are old, antiquated organizations. Do things their way. Don't be afraid to challenge them because the kids, man, they're not going to forget this. And so that's why I said, look, let's talk about the impact on their lives, but also the message to the community. We have to address that. It's bigger than the game, really.
Absolutely. And that was my whole stance on it. Like, I was, extremely proud of these boys. Like I felt like I was out there playing, right? And my immediate reaction is, this is bigger than football. Like, not only did these kids were affected on the field, but the city of Austin was affected. Like, those kids, whether they know it or not, they united the city.
Sure.
Like, I seen more people standing with each other just for what those kids was doing than I've seen on social issues that I've been involved in.
Okay.
It's just so crazy the impact that the game had on our community, on Black Austin, on our city, period. So when I seen that the NAACP and Nelson Linder got involved in it, it just validated my feelings on what it actually meant to us, and knowing that, you know, your organization has so many other things to deal with, right? So for you guys to take it on head on and do the things, or attempting to do the things that you're trying to do, whether it be lawsuit or going at the UIL directly, that alone just spoke volumes.
Well, you know, brother, the phone calls I got were convincing. The parents were convincing. They got it. The kids got it. Now, the coaches sometimes, they think about football, and that's okay. That's cool. That's what you do.
Gotcha.
But this is bigger than football. So when I heard those phone calls and what they said they saw, the fact those brothers kneeled to show respect,
Yes.
that's politics, man.
Yes.
All that stuff, people booing and stuff. See, the environment has to be addressed, right? That's why I say this is bigger than that, man. If you let those kids fall this time around, I mean, they're going to be deflated. So we have to stand up and address this stuff. The other thing is, I read about these organizations, UIL, man, these people, they're so insulated, you can't even get to them.
Got you.
So they're not using, it's like, hey, we got a complaint, really? Okay, the game is going on.
So,
next story. But anyway, that's probably what's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, because that was a point I wanted to make about the kids kneeling.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, these kids are kneeling at a high school football game, a movement Colin Kaepernick started years ago.
That's right.
A respectful protest.
That's right.
For police brutality
That's
and the
right.
things that we need
That's
to
right.
change
That's
in
right.
the U.S. But it was made into an ordeal of disrespect of the flag, disrespect of our army, our military. You being an ex-U.S.
That's right.
Army,
That's right.
you know, it just brought it all together. And I'm like, hey, could you imagine if those boys took that same knee in Jerry World the next week for the state championship game?
That's right.
The NFL owner that literally said that my players won't be kneeling at any games. Could you imagine? I was like, the politics involved in that. He could make a phone call and then the refs could change. Like that's where my mind went. What about you?
Hey, same thing. And the fact, see, nobody wanted to address that these kids were taking a stand that these guys didn't like.
Gotcha.
Had they won that game, they're going to his home turf, right? And see, here's the other thing, too. What the hell is Humble, Texas, man? I mean, you got to put all this stuff together, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, man, this is like crazy. Then you got a call from a cat in Southeast Texas on Friday night. I was laying down my bed. I said, man, I've been answering this call. I said, no, I don't know. Mr. Linder, how you doing? I said, I'm doing great, man. He said, look, I'm a coach, man. I'm in Southeast Texas. Can't tell you the name of the city. He said, I saw that game, man. And I got a text here, that night that said, this is racial profiling. Watch these guys call these calls, man, and put the football in the wrong place. This guy was Hispanic. He was very, very clear. Yeah. I got other calls saying the same thing. He said, now, look, I want to help, but I can't give these guys my name, man, because, hey, they run me out of town. And that's the other thing, man, the fear. Who are these organizations, man, that's supposed to be about fairness, but everybody's afraid of them?
Gotcha.
I mean, it's like, Nelson, you really? I said, look, man, when I'm in a fight, I'm going to throw a punch. Now, whether I win or lose, I don't know. I'm going to try.
I'm still throw a punch.
But this is a fight.
Yes.
I mean, and you got to take care of these kids, man. You guys talk about, this is about justice, man. This is a metaphor for this city. So let's stand up, make these guys do a thorough investigation and see where it takes us. But no, we're not giving up. Did I tell them to cancel the game? Yeah, I did, because I should have.
Yes.
This isn't about no sanction on the referees. I mean, these guys got another game, another day. But these kids, man, I can tell you something. A game of this nature, it's etching our brain for the future. Always, man. So we can't let that go. Make an opportunity. We need to embrace them. Like you say, we need to encourage them. We need to honor them ourselves. But, man, this is some serious stuff. I guess my biggest concern is, man, that there's too much fear in our community about these issues, man. Stand up, man. What can they do? Basically, you fighting for your kids. So when I saw the situation, I said, hey, man, I don't even think about this. We're going at this thing, man.
Absolutely. And man, I have to keep touching back on it, man, because the morale of the city, it felt good. I felt good. You know what I'm saying? I mean, guys that had spoke on LBJ in 10, 15 years,
That's
man.
right.
Alumni from everywhere. Like, everybody was going. And to see that snatched from us as a city, as a community, it was heartbreaking. Yeah. And to see those kids in the tears and the disappointment and feeling that they were robbed of something and feeling that something was taken from them, it's bigger than the game itself. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, yeah.
It's very unfortunate because, especially for those seniors, they'll never get that opportunity again, ever. And this will be their lasting memory of what could have been.
That's right. What I saw too, brother, was that whether they know it or not, they're going to be remembered for this game. This game just has a question mark beside it.
Absolutely.
That's the other thing. See, we didn't back off. We filed a complaint, so this is a matter of record now. It's going to go forward. And they don't like that. They try to get through it real fast. No. I've been getting calls, man, from all over the country. So people watching this game now and also how it affected these kids and think about Jerry World. See, all these dots now been connected.
Yes,
See what I'm saying? So how do we go forward? What two things, man? I mean, I tell these coaches, man, you got to look at these organizations to begin to understand what they stand for, look at their own diversity and what they should be doing, because clearly they don't take this stuff seriously. Well, the way I dealt with them, they just brushed me out. Are you trying to? I said, you know what? Hey, man, you don't set the rules, frankly. I'm not in your league.
Gotcha.
So we're going to – look, I'm about trying to end racism and discrimination and unfair treatment. That's what we do.
But that includes high school sports,
Absolutely.
too. So that's why.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and these young people, man, they got a guy going to Clemson, right?
yes.
Brother going to Princeton. So these guys have got a bright future. And in Arlington, man, you got all this exposure, man.
Got you.
So you took all that away from these kids, man. You took all that away from them. All the way from it. And so I guess my biggest concern is people like, hey, man, okay, what's football we lost? Come on, man. Do me more than that, bro.
Yeah.
For these young folks, man, because we don't fight this stuff, shine light on it, it continues. We got to stop this nonsense. That's what we're doing now. We're going forward to stop this nonsense because the exposure has already had an impact.
Now let's speak on the exposure.
Absolutely.
So the exposure from being in a semifinals game into a state championship game could be the difference in a scholarship for a young man who is not going to Clemson, who is not going to Oklahoma.
Absolutely.
That opportunity for that young man to get a shining light on him in a national state championship game, as big as Texas football is, that could have been removed from that young man where he might have not had any offers on the table. But he performed in a state championship game in a pro stadium, and somebody else took a look at him, and now he has an opportunity to go to college.
That's right.
Not saying that push sports, but if you come from communities and private communities that I've come from, in that area where I grew up at, I'm an alumni of LBJ, and I know that most of the time, our parents can't afford college education.
That's right, man.
Now, we use sports as a tool for our parents to do that. So with that one less opportunity due to selfish referees, selfish people who were the powers that be to have them make those calls, have them snatch that game from those boys. Like, you could be stunting the growth on some of those kids' futures. And that's the bigger picture.
No doubt about it. And see, in these institutions, too, the amount of this situation, it's their culture. This is an old, antiquated, outdated culture where these folks sit back and look at these games and shake their head. They don't like somebody. They never get addressed. But see, once you tag them or challenge them, it's a whole nother reality. Then you see who they are. Then they want to cower and hide behind the doors. So for young folks, I get a lot of phone calls like, Nelson, we don't want to go, we want to fight this. Hey, man, what do you mean you don't want to fight this, bro? If you don't fight this stuff, it continues. And the fact you fought it already and it got exposure, you got national newspapers asking questions. Rick Kentle did a very good article in the American Statesman. So these people being questioned about this game, man, this is kind of suspicious. I've had so many phone calls from Yahoo Sports. Wow. What about LBJ? Well, so these brothers, even though they had a negative experience, man, you also started something. Now, we have to finish it. Like young brothers like you see, we got to figure out a way to honor these kids. And I hope LBJ is thinking about some way to honor these kids, let them know that they are really champions. I'll certainly support it.
Absolutely.
I'll even fund it. That's the next step. Embrace these kids and fund them. So look, man, you guys excel, and this game was taken from you.
Yes,
so it's a lot of the conversation right now. That's how you do it. People are proud, and they want to fight. They want to get involved. But we need to quit talking about what we can't do, man. I mean, I don't care what UIL says. These guys don't run me. I mean, they can say what they want to say, but we're going to go forward and make them do some work. That's important for the black community. Don't let these guys discourage you because they're organization. They need to be exposed anyway for what they do. So in this situation, despite what we saw, and that brother he just encouraged me just now. Hey, man, this stuff is insane. It's insane, man. USA, really?
Yeah.
This is a high school football game, man.
Yeah.
You talking about USA? What's this, American government or something?
Exactly.
So the truth is out there, but a lot of folks, man, they don't want to. It's a fight. I understand that. It's time, but hey, man, you got to fight because you guys are the future, man. So what you're doing, brother, is right on time. You put this together. Hey, I'm happy to be here, man. I'm always out there fighting, man. But I don't play games with folks. Yeah. You got to be real, man.
I was honored that you were very responsive. You responded right back to me, like. And I know, I love that you did that, and I want to tell you again that I really appreciate it.
It's encouragement, man. And going forward, think about ways to honor these brothers. I want to be a part of that. Mm-hmm. I'm fighting this case still right now. I got 4 phone calls from all over the state today. These are folks who are attorneys, folks who are writers who want to do interviews about this stuff. So the word is all over. And that brings a lot of pressure to these organizations. They say, Nelson, have you ever looked at these guys' board? Look at their history. So we got folks like researching the history of these organizations. Most of them found it in the early 1900s, 1930s. Man, that's a long time ago.
Yes.
You see the institutional systemic stuff?
Yeah.
Hey, man, I'm
exactly.
like, okay. And I'm telling you, man, this morning up there in Dallas, man, Fort Worth, this cat, man, Mark Davis show, man, he was very respectful. I mean, we had a great, you got to hear it.
Yeah, when I seen you post that earlier, I went and did my research on him. I'm like, what this dude want with Nelson, man? Like, I don't want it, but he is a white man.
Hey,
And the third, I'm like, what is his angle on bringing Nelson to talk about that? Like, what was that like? Like, what kind of vibe did you get from him in that interview with him?
I got from him, man, he's one of these white guys that's fairly honest, tell you what he feels.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with that.
Got you.
He wanted to check me out. But see, that's what I did, though. So I came on a whole different hat on him. I was ready for him.
Yeah.
So I was cool and calm, which I was, but I made it a conversation. I said, hey, man, this is bigger than football. Let's talk about life. Then you tell me where he was from. He's from Georgia, by the way.
Wow.
I'm from Georgia,
Same
right?
place, yeah.
So that kind of got him a little bit, too.
Mm-hmm.
But he was very respectful. It was a very intelligent interview, man. But he basically said what I was saying. He couldn't deny. I said, wait a minute now, you talking about this law stuff. We ain't there yet. I mean, we got a lot of lights to shine right now, and we got a lot of evidence. So we're going to expose this thing first.
Speaking of that, so it's a video that's floating around of looks like allegedly coaches paying refs.
Yeah.
Looks like they're actually handing them something after the game before they took off running into the tunnel, which is, those are all things I'm pretty sure you got people looking into. And also, let's jump back to the race card thing. Like, I'm, for one of the people that actually thinks race has a part in everything.
Exactly.
Everything. So the race card is usually played appropriately,
right,
and where it needs to be played.
Right.
But in this circumstance, I got people telling me that, the kids were being called niggers. They were being criticized by the referees. I, for one, for sure know the people in their stands was calling us niggers and everything. So the race card was properly played here for whoever said that.
Absolutely. The evidence shows that, brother. No doubt about that. And that's why I took this case, because it is racism. It's systemic issues as well. And we got to challenge these organizations that's supposed to be basically monitoring this stuff, because they're not. They think that when something happens like this, the next game up. That's all they think. That's no, on record. We're postponing Friday night's game. And see, they knew why I said postpone the game. I want that to be a matter of record. I want to do it before the game was played. Now they can't erase it. We're standing tall, so that's the way it is, man. We're going forward.
Yeah, let's keep moving.
Yeah, man. So going forward, we've already made history. You've got to stood up in the city.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna have to address this. They can deny, but have to address it. You got allies now all over the country, so it's gonna be a big thing now. So, but for Austin, what does Austin do? You, like young brothers and sisters, what do y'all want to do? So now I want you guys to do something to take this thing forward. Let these kids know you love them. It could be however you want to do it. It needs to be something to let them know that we appreciate who they are for standing. Because these kids stood up.
They definitely did.
They knew that this was bigger than football, and that validated what I was doing, because I know the coaches have to work with these people. I don't. Hey, man, I'm gonna say what I got to say. And the thing about the race thing too. Let's be clear about this. With Nelson, we got black referees. Hey. And you know what, man?
All skin folk.
I looked at the game, man. I don't care who they were. I saw the game, right?
Yeah.
Let's stay there, okay?
Yeah.
In the conversation.
Got you.
Because they're part of a system that they're in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they're in all that nonsense.
Absolutely.
And I know what they mean, man, but no, brother, if it's all about that, we won't be having this conversation.
At all.
Right.
With anything.
Right, because we know who runs this whole show, man.
Exactly.
We know who's in charge, right?
Exactly.
And we know who makes these decisions, in terms of where a game is played. I mean, USA, man, that'll be a whole show in itself. If folks say, hey, USA, man, what does that really mean? These brothers and sisters, not USA, really?
Wow.
Really? That's what you're saying, right? And these are kids, young people, man. These are not adults, man. These are young people. Now imagine how they feel, man. USA.
They feel ostracized. Whew. But hey, we resilient people, right?
Absolutely.
We gonna work through this. We gonna create another way.
Absolutely.
Because we always do.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
We're resilient people.
That's right. And this is powerful stuff.
Yeah.
It needs to be heard.
Absolutely. So, what can we do as a community? Like, what can we put together for these young men to show them our appreciation? What can we do? Like, it's kind of hard to put things together here and there because of COVID and because of the pandemic and the things that are going on in our society. So, but I, for one, still would like to do something
Yeah.
to kind of show our appreciation, to show that we're behind y'all. We're proud of y'all. Y'all made history. You know, don't let this stop you. We've always been faced with adversity. You know, persevere, push through. Like, what can we do? What is a suggestion from Mr. Nelson Linder?
Well, you guys are so dynamic in terms of virtual stuff. So you can do a virtual show, talk about the team year with the coach and the principal. And what I like to do really is get these young people a very nice trophy about resilience.
Absolutely.
And that can be placed at LBJ. I will take care of that. But you guys all start a dialogue with the coach, let them know we love him, and talk about the season, man. And that way they're still being honored. Absolutely. See, and I guarantee you that'll make the news. You honor your brothers, even though they lost the game in terms of how we define loss, they really won it because they stood up. And that trophy can reflect that. For this year, the class this year can reflect the fact these kids kneeled and stood up, man, and fought in the face of adversity. That's a very special class, man.
Well, I would like to. I think this is an opportunity for press.
Yeah.
And a press conference.
Yeah, absolutely.
And people like me, myself, other people that feel the way I feel. Nelson Linder,
get the coach,
stand up, get the
right?
coach, Coach Fenner, and some of the parents that have and have us, do a press conference and get the press out there and let people know that, we're gonna use this as a stepping stone, as a leaping point. This is not gonna tear us down.
No,
it's not gonna tear Austin, Texas down. It's not gonna tear LBJ down.
That's right.
We're gonna continue to move forward and build off of this.
That's right. And what I want to do is get these kids a very nice, special trophy, man. You guys can take care of that and you can give it to them. So they be remembered based on that trophy. It's like winning a state title. Mm-hmm. It's at that school, man.
Because they're still champions.
They're champions.
They're definitely still champions.
And I'll tell you, that'll make a big difference. And tells the opposition, number one, you're not defeated and you'll never be defeated. The truth is on your side. You should have won that game.
Absolutely.
I got to say this, and I think Linder got beat pretty bad Saturday night, didn't he?
Got the hell up. Got mud hole stuff.
I'm sorry,
man.
I should have said that, hey, man. But
karma, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, they got beat pretty bad. Okay.
They absolutely got beat pretty bad. So, I mean, like you said, everything happens for a reason. And a lot of things that do happen for a reason aren't always glorious, aren't always fulfilling.
Right.
Sometimes that it feels like you're defeated and it's tearing you down.
It does. But when I got those phone calls, man, out of the middle of nowhere at night, I said, this is something special because these cats not even in Austin. And they saying stuff that we're not even talking about here.
Yes.
So you can't blame it on us. We're not so losers, man, all over the state, man. So that told me, no, this is bigger than that. Get up and do something. We'll take care of political stuff, but I want these young folks, man, because you started this whole thing here, to be honored in the right way and have a nice plaque to show what this year was all about. I think that would and the press will love that too because, man, look, Rick can too. We had a great interview. These cats know what's happening, man.
Got you.
But we have to lead the way. If we don't stand up, why should they?
It's definitely on us. I tell people that all the time. Man. If we don't care, nobody else will.
That's right.
I mean, if we're not the ones, of course, we need other people to get where we're going because that's just the way society is set up for human beings.
That's right.
But if we don't show interest, if we don't show that we're passionate about what we're talking about, nobody else is going to be there.
Not,
we can't expect them to.
They're not, brother. And you got people all over the state and this country, too, that saw what happened. And these guys are very empathetic.
Got you.
Empathetic. So we got a great platform to go forward. The main thing is it has to go forward. Our investigations are going forward. Yeah. So we'll take that part of it. But what you guys do here with LBJ and the brothers in the community here, that's a whole nother opportunity. And that's more important than anything.
Yeah, I'm going to start an initiative.
There we go.
To raise money to purchase these players.
Okay.
LBJ, this team.
Okay.
A nice plaque.
That's right.
A nice thing, and maybe Mr. Nelson Linder, I don't want to put you on the spot. You can help me set up a press conference to present it to these boys.
Be happy to do that.
Absolutely.
And get Coach Fenner.
Everybody.
We'll
contact them all.
Yeah, we'll definitely do
absolutely.
That. You got me.
So if you're watching this is an initiative that I'm going to start, and I'm going to make sure it happens. I'm going to see it through because these boys are champions. They are still winners, and there's still hope for the future of LBJ High School. And actually, people might not like that I say this, but we finally got our school back because the LASA program is no longer there.
That's right.
Which
That's okay.
I always felt that.
That's right.
I never liked it because I felt like it was segregation inside
No doubt
of
about
the school.
No doubt
right?
about that, brother. No doubt about that.
So I hated it. So we finally got our school back.
That's right.
And so that leapfrogged me into the idea of starting these form systems. These boys on that team that I was watching play, these boys been playing with each other since they were 4 and 5 years old.
That's right.
They started with the Austin Steelers.
That's right.
A team that my sons currently play for.
Okay.
They were on Netflix with the Friday Night Tykes. They've won championships. They're called the Trophy Boys.
Okay.
So they're proven winners.
Okay.
It's what they do.
Wow. Okay.
They win.
Okay.
So that's the blueprint, black people. Let's stop breaking our boys up. Let's start them young. It's the reason why Lake Travis and Westlake win all the time.
That's right.
It's a form system. Those boys start from Little League all the way up through high school, and that's why they continuously in the state championship picture or they win the state championship, because we have to get rid of that selfish mindset and just leave our boys together. They need to build that the continuity and build on each other. And that's the blueprint. They showed us, LBJ showed us the blueprint because that's exactly what those young men accomplished.
That's right.
So
when it comes to opportunities in our community, jobs, businesses, it's the same thing, right? We need that same network, man, where we come together. And that's how we make a community better.
absolutely.
We build it business-wise, job-wise. We address those things, man, ourselves. It's the same spirit. And we can do it, man. See, all these difficulty we see today, these things happen for a reason. I tell people, these are just reminders that our work is unfinished. We have work to do. Hey, brother, I'm committed.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I know I'm young in this fight. You've been doing it for a while.
That's okay, but you know what?
Yeah,
I was
I'ma
young
get
too
it straight.
at one point in time. Not anymore, but I was young at one point in time, man. So
Absolutely.
hey, that makes me proud, man. See, I feel good. You brothers are fighting, so
Thank you.
you're doing some incredible things, man.
Thank you.
So I'm proud. I feel stronger, man. So that's how it works, right?
Absolutely.
Hey, we're in good hands.
Absolutely.
You guys are doing the right thing, man.
I mean, it's people like you who've paved the way, and people like you that I've watched over time, and just saying like, "Hey, man, this is what we need to be doing." Like this type stuff fulfills me.
That's right.
I mean, more than anything else.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right. That's right.
It just does. You know
That's
what I'm
right,
saying?
man.
It's
That's right.
not only a feel good thing,
That's right.
but it affects me directly. I have black sons. I have a black daughter.
Okay.
Like as a black man, what else should I be doing?
That's right.
But creating an environment, trying to create a society
That's right.
that benefits my children.
That's right.
And I might not get to experience
That's
it,
right.
but why not start the process?
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right. And it's our city too, man. I mean, all the resources in Austin, Texas, we pay taxes.
Absolutely.
It's ours too, right?
I say that all the time. So, Austin, Texas is less than 8% black,
That's
right?
right. That's
So why don't every black in Austin have an abundance of resources?
That's right.
Like, where are they going?
That's right. That's right.
You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
It's
That's
not
right.
a lot of
That's
black
right.
people to divvy it up
No,
for.
it's not, bro. It's not. But you got to claim this city. It's yours too.
Yeah.
You might have a small percentage, but guess what? Small people start great things, man. Small groups start great things.
Absolutely.
So we know our history, know our culture, and we're going to be here, man. So let's make it the best, man. But no, man, this is a great cause. I keep you informed on what we're doing. It's a lot to do out there, man. It ain't nearly over.
No.
But just take care of our kids, man. Make sure people are educated and informed about what's going on. Because a lot of folks, man, got bad information still because what they're looking at. But the facts, like you say, Dave, man, the game, the environment, USA stuff. See, that's national news. USA.
Big.
Man, you're in a high school game, man.
I would have loved to see those boys kneel in Jerry World.
Oh, man.
Or possibly the phone call to LBJ saying, look, y'all, those boys better not kneel in my stadium because I'm just not allowed. I would have loved to see that play out because one of the two would have happened.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
And,
That's right. That's
Coach Fenner or, the director of sports over there would have had to make an executive. It's no doubt in my mind that call would have came.
And why ain't anybody really addressing that? So I had to point it out to people. And they said, well, I hadn't heard of that. Well, look it up, man. Go look at the game takes, man. USA. Really. Wow. Black people, man, are huge majority proportionally in the military. Mm-hmm. That's another thing. You're talking about USA, and our folks fight and die faster than anybody for this damn country. And you're talking about you guys don't even go to fight for the most part. You don't have to.
Gotcha.
But African Americans, especially men and women too, man, we're a large part of the Army, Marines, Air Force. So that's the other thing, man. What are you talking about, USA? Man, we saved this country.
Exactly.
We fought for it in the Civil War and the Revolutionary War. So let's get this stuff straight. This is our country too. In fact, we sacrifice more than anybody.
Because our sacrifice to me, and I might get somebody might not like this. I think our sacrifice meant more because we're actually fighting for a country and rights that we just didn't have.
Absolutely.
So our people fought and died for things that they wouldn't even be able to enjoy.
That's right.
Things that their families not able to enjoy back here in the country.
That's right.
So if we want to talk about who really made the sacrifices,
that's right.
Y'all need to take a look at that, because we have every right to flag. We have every right to kneel. We have every right to do any of that because our people have fought and bled.
Absolutely.
And guess who were on the front line on these missions? I bet you they look like me.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. But that needs to be in our history, in our culture, right? Yeah. That's what we're doing now. Saying, look, man, this stuff is not right. We got to fix this stuff. We can't go forward. That's why he's helping, telling us, man, hey, until you fix this stuff, you can't go forward. You know, Joe Biden says we want to heal this country, and we need to. But you know what, brother? Before you heal anything, you got to get the stuff that's divides you first. You got to clear out the way, right? And that's what a battle is. You got to fix this stuff, man. Until you fix this stuff, you can't heal, man, in a divided society because it's based on injustice. And that's kind of where we come in. So I'm good, man. I'm proud of what you're doing. I'll keep you posted on what we're doing, and we'll keep fighting, man.
Absolutely. So I spoke on the form system.
Mm-hmm.
I think gentrification and redistricting was strategically done to stop Black dominance.
No doubt.
In keeping us unified.
No doubt.
It kind of ripped apart our neighborhoods.
Absolutely.
Not kind of, but it did, right? I don't know, man. Can you speak? I have those thoughts in my head, but can you speak on the redistricting?
Well, think about it, brother. Think about it. Before you had the Master Plan of 28, you had independent Black settlements all over this city.
Absolutely.
Doing well. So who made that decision to put Black folks in one area based on city tree? Those other areas died. But we never been in one place. But you put us in one place, guess what? We evolved, and we thrived, and East Tulsa became powerful. And all of a sudden, okay, this is right next to downtown. There's money here. All of a sudden, here comes gentrification, where you're pushing folks out because you raise the price of property.
Redlining.
On taxes. Yeah. Insurance, redlining. Yep. So these things, man, are all systemic things. And so look at it now. You got Black folks, Pflugerville, Maine, Del Valley, but the core of East Austin, man, is gone. My business is still there. We're still there. But we're about 18, 19% now. We used to be 80%. Wow. So you change the whole nucleus of East Austin. It's no longer a Black community as we knew it. That Black folks still there. These policies, man, happen all over the country. I tell folks, Harlem has been gentrified. okay. So it's like it's a system that has the same impact everywhere. A friend of mine taught at Kennedy King College, Chicago South Side. He said, man, we got like Whole Foods now. I'm South Side Chicago. And what does that mean? All of a sudden, guess what's disappearing? Our people.
Absolutely.
Starbucks. Hey, man, and Southside? Brothers,
yeah.
Okay, so, and the college got a big fence around it.
Brothers not buying $10 lattes, man. We not buying.
So are we watching this stuff? Well, somebody told me a while back, I don't know if it's true or not, the old church this place down on Airport in Springdale, somebody said somebody bought their building and that they were thinking about putting a Starbucks there. I don't like rumors and gossip. I said, you know what, man?
On Airport and 12.
That's a hell of an idea. Because if you want to change the area, what do? You bring in a product that certain people like, and you give it to them, and guess what? They're already living there. You see, man, some of these brothers, man, are smart. That's like, hey, Nelson, think about that. Look at how the neighborhoods are changing. It's always the businesses first. They come in, guess who follows? We got to watch these things and also prepare for the change because it's coming. It's coming. We can still survive, but we've been displaced. And so that's why I work all the time on having a new land rewrite code. We stopped it 3 times in the court.
Absolutely.
We want to keep the taxes down for the older folks. We want to make sure we don't need no condominiums next door to a 1-story house.
Definitely.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, what's going to happen? Property goes up pretty soon, you're gone. See, we need to understand how that works and make sure our elected officials understand, look, we don't want gentrification, okay? If you ain't fighting that, I'm not going to vote for you.
Got you.
And so that's our battle right now is observe what's left of East Tulsa, but also let's identify opportunities. Let's support our own businesses, man, each other, right? So things like that, man, that's how you empower yourself. Because that train has been off and running for a while. It can be decreased, but as far as the real damage, the bleeding it's already started.
Yeah.
So we got to just make sure we do what we can. Because I'm telling you something, man, Pflugerville, these other communities, they are not immune from rising taxes and growth as well. It's going there too because the city is expanding in that direction. So you have to understand that stuff. That way you can deal with it.
So, granted, a lot of us don't understand that, right? it was something that I had to ingratiate myself with. I've witnessed it firsthand. What suggestions do you give for our community to start protecting our community, places where they can educate themselves on what's going on, what to look for when voting comes back around? Like, these are all things that, our community lacks knowledge of and is taken advantage of. So that's the reason why somebody can come give our grandma $200,000 and turn around and sell the same house or property for 1.2.
That's right.
Like, because of lack of knowledge, our
right.
financial literacy is not where it needs to be in our community.
That's right.
What do you suggest as far as, ground level, where we could start protecting our communities?
I'll tell you what I like right now, based on history. You're a part of it, the Black Austin Coalition.
Absolutely.
See, in the past, they put money in the city of Austin to distribute to the black population. That didn't happen. It never happened. We learned from that mistake, right?
Yeah.
We ain't doing that no more. So lessons learned now, you got young brothers and sisters of the Black Austin Coalition saying, okay, here's the blueprint. Give us some money. Restitution, reparation, whatever you want to call it. That's the new model now. The money goes into your hands. You work together, and you build our community. You accept nothing less. It's not the city council's idea. It's your idea.
Absolutely.
And I always remember, when they get involved and get the idea, it's all over. They follow you. Let's be very clear about that.
Gotcha.
You don't follow them, they follow you. You guys have got the right plan on the table. The Black Austin Coalition, you're not racist, you work with anybody. But you want your fair share. Your ancestors will pay for it. And that's the only way you're going to empower black people in Austin, Texas. Build your own institution with your taxpayers' money. They ain't theirs. $4.2 billion. We pay for it, right?
They can find it.
But Black Austin Coalition, Black Collective, you got these groups now that are thinking the right way. They want to take resources and control them. See, if you don't control your resources, brother, you're spinning your wheel.
Yeah, we spinning our wheels. We get these same programs that we've been getting for years that they're feel-good programs. They might help somebody, one family, two families, or one specific area. But as a whole, as Black Austin, as a black community, it does nothing. It's just going through the motion. Like you said, we're spinning our wheels constantly. We've already seen that blueprint does not work for black people.
That's right.
That's why Black Austin Coalition is coming up with an African-American embassy.
That's right.
The plan that we have to rebuild Black Austin and to do for self.
Look at history, brother. In times of immense racism and lynchings, black folks had independent black communities, and they were thriving. You mentioned Wall Street. Well, you had Wall Streets all over the country. You had one called 6th Street, the same thing here in Austin. So when you have your own community that you control, brother, that's the future. You work with everybody, but at the same time, you have your own home court. That's your own home court, because you can take those resources. You're going to help each other. No competition. All of us are different. We ain't the same. We're trying to fight each other. It's about making something bigger. But that model worked historically. It can work today. Black Coalition idea, where young guys like yourself and brothers like Nook and others, you wrote this out.
Yes.
That's your idea. You have to own it. And there are a lot of folks who will try to buy it from you. Hey, don't go for that. No. This is already, we want your support politically, but we carry the weight because this is who we are. We ain't going nowhere. Your term might be 2, 3, or 4 years. We live in this community. Absolutely. That's how you got to think. And once you think that way, man, guess what? They'll respect you.
Yes, sir. So, do for self. I read something about the Garvey Allen Washington Project in '92. And the reason it caught my eye because I follow Marcus Garvey, right? Yep. And I some of his ideologies and the things he spoke about, it's just attention. They grabbed my attention. So when I seen that, just looking up, Nelson Linder type deal, I was like, man, that's interesting. Can you talk about that a little bit? I don't know. I want to change the subject.
No, man. Look. Marcus Garvey, one of the most important black men in our history.
Yeah.
He said the basic things, man. Be proud of yourself. Know who you are. His ideas took hold all over Africa. Had the largest mass movement in America in Harlem, New York City. Why don't we know that, man? I mean, Marcus Garvey is all over Africa today, Jamaica, the Caribbeans, but we don't know that. So I said, you know what? We always fight each other based on different ideas. Let's do something very unique here. Let's bring in Booker T. Washington's Tuskegee idea of college and education. Let's bring in Garvey's idea of black nationalism, knowing who you are.
Yes.
So think about, and Allen was an African Methodist minister. You got the religious spiritual foundation. What happens when you bring these ideas together, man? No fighting, but unity and working together. That's how you change things. That's our challenge. We can be different, but yet be the same. Everybody got a role to play. So Garvey, he was our culture. I mean, he was our foundation. Booker T. Washington was about having a skill so you could survive in any society. Which Adam says, you know what? There is a supreme being. What you call the supreme being is your business. We're not fighting over that, right? No. It's a supreme being. So those two things make nation for most people. If you go to Africa, they love Garvey. They know Allen. They know Booker T. Washington. Hey man, I was probably about in my 30s when we started the organization. We dealt with black culture and black history. Some of us know where we came from. But let's quit competing and see that everybody has value, but you got to bring it together. If you can't bring it together, you can't be successful.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree.
So I went out of that until the NAACP.
Well, I was going to ask you that next. So when were you elected president of the Austin chapter NAACP?
2000, man, 20 years ago.
20 years ago, man.
I was embraced by local Austin folks who say, hey, this guy here, he's a sharp guy. He likes to fight. He's respectful. We like him. They embraced me as a younger guy, and they taught me. I sat at their feet, people like Dr. Turner, Captain Lloyd White, John Warfield.
Yes.
They instructed me in what I should be doing. It's a young man, you got all the characteristics, but we're your elders. No matter what you do, never disrespect us because we've been here, we know. Now, we're not perfect. We have our fights too. But when people embrace you, man, and say, hey, look, you're the future, and they pray over you, brother, that's a powerful thing. So all those folks embraced me. They never criticized me. They might have spanked me a few times, but it was never public. Never public, okay?
And then us as black people, it's okay for constructive criticism is fine.
Yeah.
But we have to learn how to address each other.
That's right.
Everything is not for everybody to see.
That's right.
Pull me to the side,
That's
brother.
Right. That's right.
Let me listen because for every action brings on a reaction.
That's right.
If I feel like you're embarrassing me, if I feel like you're trying to call me out in front of people, I will be less receptive to that advice, to that constructive criticism.
Absolutely.
So as black people, that's fine that they spanked you sometime, but they did it in private.
And I didn't take it personally. And you know what? It's a Nelson. You know, this is what Calvin White said. He said, look, son, he said, you know what? You take this job, you can get a lot of press conferences, a lot of visibility. Most folks will take that, and all of a sudden they're on the city council or somewhere else. He's doing this towards death. He's doing me a favor. I want you to take this organization, live within it, and never depart it. Show a commitment that you're here to work for the people because, man, I work for everyday folks every day. That's all I do, brother. I got a file on probably 1,000 folks have been done wrong.
Wow.
That's what I do every day. I said, you know what, Captain White? He said, no. He said, make me a promise you won't do that because if you do, I'm going to know about it even when I'm gone. That's why I'm still here 20 years. I've been very fortunate. And my life threatened, I had my building burned down, but I never lost my faith because I felt like it was always behind me. So this is 20 years now, but it's based on the elders and what they told me. Hey, look, we're part of you. We're going to protect you, but you got to do the right thing. Don't exploit folks, man. Money ain't everything. Do what you can to help your community, but most of all, have integrity. Man, ain't nothing more than having integrity and living a good life.
Nothing better than that.
That's what they taught me about. Yeah. So that's where I came from. Now, remember, I'm not from here. I came here in 1980, man. I was 22 years old from the military. Got involved with ACC first, HT, graduated in 84. Got an insurance business, man, because I have an insurance agency.
So I was going to ask you about that, too, because I'm an entrepreneur myself. Okay. I have my own lawn and landscaping business. It's been running 5 years.
Wonderful.
It's doing very good, right? So I'm also interested because that is literally the foundation of the Black Austin Coalition as well. All young Black business owners and people who like to do for self.
That's right.
Why insurance? What got you into the insurance business? How did that start?
My dad told me, so first of all, son, because of how you think and how you fight, you need to be independent because nobody's going to sign your paycheck. So he was self-employed too.
Gotcha.
So insurance, I worked for Allstate for 7 years as a manager at Loyola Springdale. It taught me how to be independent. And I kept evolving. Then I bought my own company in my name. But I learned from the corporations. I learned how to be independent. I could say things. And see, when you have your own money coming in, man, nobody can touch you. Yeah. That's the other thing about our people. If you work at downtown for somebody, man, and I understand there's value in our work, but there's certain things you can't do. We need a Black business community that would invest and protect our warriors, our supporters when things happen. That's the purpose of any business community.
Gotcha.
It's to protect the people that live within that community. So I was taught that. So that's why I joined insurance because, number one, it shows you how to insure people, how to create future money, endowments. See, we don't create future money. All these big white institutions, somebody write $1 billion policy or whatever, when they die, goes to the institution.
Yeah.
Like Houston Tilson, other organizations. We don't have very many.
You're a graduate of Houston Television,
absolutely,
correct?
84. Yes,
Absolutely.
sir, 84. So life insurance, absolutely. So life insurance teaches you how to treat money. That's where the money came from in our communities, from life insurance and real estate.
Yeah.
Still relevant today. So that's why I got involved in life insurance. My dad taught me, he said, you can't be independent when people sign your check. You can do things, but when you have your own business, man, you get tax breaks and all kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
So he taught me economics.
Gotcha.
My major is business, actually. That's my major, is business.
That is awesome.
But you would never know that because I don't talk
about it.
Yeah. And maybe I don't need to, right?
Yeah.
So I've been an insurance agent for 35 years.
Okay.
35 years, man.
That's awesome. Well,
now I got one request. I wasn't born here. I'm not a native guy.
Okay.
Your brother's got to embrace me, okay?
Yeah, for sure.
I say, hey man, you in Austin? No, man. Oh, okay. Hey, no, man. Look, brother, wherever I go, you're my people.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I was born in Georgia. I learned how to fight in Georgia. I brought it to Austin, Texas. I'll share some here also. But you got to embrace me as being one of you guys. I'm one of you guys, man. I've been here, almost 40 years now, man. I get my diploma soon, right?
I think you've put in enough time and definitely enough work.
So, hey, man.
Yeah, you've definitely one of us.
But I gotta say that, man, you brothers make me very, very proud. You're doing some great work. There's some lessons we got to learn. You know that still, we're never perfect. But the Black Coalition, the idea is good. Folks got to stick to it. Follow your blueprint. Mm-hmm. Don't give it to anybody else, and just stay committed. You're not in competition. Y'all brothers bring some sisters to the table. The Black Collective, the same thing. That's my message. Definitely. Claim it, own it, and use your own resources, man, to support your own people. That's how it works.
Absolutely. And actually, blacks are the only race that's criticized when trying to do that.
That's
I think
right.
Every other culture, every other race is already doing that, and nobody blinks an eye.
That's
but
right.
as soon as we say we want to do for self, we're not excluding everybody else, but we're just going to put us first. And now everybody's in an uproar. Now we don't deserve this, or we're ungrateful, or this mentality of when blacks start saying we're going to stand up for blacks, and when blacks start saying, look, I'm going to give my brother this job versus this guy just because he's my brother. Because that's the same thing that everybody else has done over the history of time. You know what? Like I spoke about earlier, you're more qualified, black man, but I know this white guy over here, and I'm going to give him the position.
That's right.
So thanks for your time.
That's right.
Yeah.
To that point about why they focus on us when everybody else doesn't.
Yeah.
See, in people's genetic memory, they remember everything. They know at a point in time on this earth that black folks were the rulers of the earth.
Wow.
But we was fair with everybody. That's always in our memory. So we start doing things right and wrong, that fear comes out. But we're not like that, man. We treat everybody as human beings. But that's where the jealousy comes from, the fact that they know who you are. But unfortunately, a lot of us don't. Now, there's a brother right now just moved around Rock about 6 months ago from New Jersey. Mm-hmm. He's from Liberia. This guy has a tremendous solar energy company. He just moved right here in Williamson County. We're partners right now. I'm doing insurance for him. He wants to invest in our community. I mean, we got folks doing incredible things all over. That's our future. You can see this continent come back to America and connect. I mean, think about that. I'm here with a cat from Liberia who's got offices in 5 foreign nations. But if you saw this cat, you would never know it. Man, our future's bright, but we got to realize it. Garvey Washington Allen Project, it came from that idea of us seeing our future because we knew our past.
Absolutely. I know we might be getting a little tight on time. I have absolutely no idea. I know we had to stop for a second to touch back on the thing about the LBJ boys. That is definitely something that I'm going to focus my attention on and make happening because you boys are still champions.
That's right.
We are very proud of you.
That's right.
And as a community, as Austin, we're going to come up with the money to get you boys the trophy and the recognition you deserve. We're going to have the media. We're going to do this. Coach Fenner, any of those people can reach out to me. Let's make this happen, man. This is for us, and we don't need this to be swept under the rug. This should not be forgotten. Mr. Nelson Linder will make sure he does his due diligence on his side, as he always does, to make sure we get the justice we deserve.
That's right.
And to make sure that
That's right.
the country sees that we're not taking this lightly.
That's right. And this whole affair is going to be documented in history books. So whenever you pull up the state title in 2040, it'll show the contested game between the LBJ and Linder and what happened. See, that's what history does when you write it. That's why you got to fight. Because if you don't fight, there's no document.
Yes.
See, that's what history is all about. In fact, the word history that's overused, it's a Greek word. It means historia. Doesn't mean just remember. It means you have to inspect the circumstances.
Absolutely.
Isn't that deep?
Yeah, that's super deep.
You know, just read the books, but you got to. So what happened on this date? What happened on December 11, 2020 with Linder and LBJ? See, people need to know what happened, right?
Absolutely.
You brought it out. Hey, man, USA. Come on, man, it's crazy. Hey, man, I enjoyed the conversation, bro.
Hey, man, thanks a lot. I think we got somebody attention because they definitely monetizing our show, but it's still documented. I will reshare it. I would like for everybody else who was on here when I posted, reposted, please share. This is information people need to see. This was an awesome conversation with the president of the NAACP, under Nelson Linder. And as I always say, I love y'all. This has been another episode of the DexX podcast. Stay black, stay dangerous.
We used to say power to the people. We can still say
that. We definitely can.
Hey, thanks, man.
Thank you.
This was great, brother. This was great, man.
Absolutely.
All right.